Okay, there's not going to be any work today. People on Facebook and that will know why. But I want to show you 3 bikes that I've picked up recently, which have been absolute steals, I reckon. The first one is the latest one, which you can clearly see before you. It's a 1991 Carrera Quattro Comp GT. Quite a long name, but it is a great buy, I think, especially for the spec of it. I only paid £50 for this bike. Found it on the Facebook marketplace. I managed to get in there first before anyone else had. Now I'm thinking some people might turn their noses up at this bike because it was a Halfords brand. That sticker there says so, and Carrera, we all know, is a Halfords brand, so even in 1991 they were selling this bike. But it's got such a good spec that it can't be snubbed. The frame itself is Reynolds 531 Magnum tubing on the frame. I don't know if the fork is 5312, but yeah, the frame is top spec. It's still got the Titan oversized tubing, which is the same as the Kathmandu, which I've messed around with before, but this is a smaller sized frame and a lot more suited to me. To go with the 531 tubing is a full, and I mean full, pretty much almost, is a full Deore XT group set. It's the 1991 range, so it's a mix of the M730. The hubs are 730 on the front and 732 on the rear. The brakes, I don't even actually know the code for those, I haven't checked. I think they're 730 as well. Crankset is a 730. Derailleurs are like 730 as well. And the shifters are what are they? And the shifters are the ST M091s. Speaking of the shifters and the cockpit, it actually still has the original grips somehow. It's had these Onza bar ends put on, which are a little scratched up, but nothing we can't sort out. The only downside, I should probably say, to this bike is that one of the shifters and thus the brake levers has been replaced at some point, so I need to find a left brake lever and shifter to match this side to the M091. It also obviously doesn't come with the original saddle. I don't even know what this is, just a gel saddle. It's quite sticky, so I don't really want to touch it that much, but it's got the original seat post, and that is free and moving. It's a Calloy for something designation on it. But yeah, I'm super happy with this bike because it is pretty much ready to ride. Now my plans aren't going to involve doing too much to the bike. It's already got a brand new set of tyres on there, the Maxxis Advantage. I don't know what sort of spec they are, but yeah, brand new tyres on it. I'm going to obviously give it a good surface, check the chain wear and the cassette wear, probably replace all the cables. It's still on the original XT pads. I don't know how that has come about, but I could keep the pads. I might switch them out for some of the Cool Stop pads, and I'll just change up the grips and replace that shifter and saddle, and then I'll ride it, because I know despite being a Halfords brand, it's still a very nicely, very well spec'd bike, and it should perform really well actually. I'm really looking forward to riding it. Now the second bike is this, again, absolute steal. All 3 of these bikes I bought for £50. Didn't pay a penny over, apart from obviously the diesel to get there. So yeah, this is a Quintana Roo Superform. Now if you haven't heard of Quintana Roo before, I suggest you look them up. I hadn't heard about them either, but they are a triathlon bike manufacturer. Quintana Roo was actually founded in 1987 by Dan Empfield, who is of the Ironman fame, and it was actually he invented the triathlon specific bike and thus founded the company. The Superform was a 1989 edition, so 2 years after the original founding of the company, and it is said that this bike was actually built from the aero bars at the front backwards to get the right comfort, the right speed, everything you need for an Ironman, a triathlon. And you'll probably notice how steep the angles are. It has an 80 degree seat tube which would put you right over the cranks, so you can generate all that power and everything needed for the Ironman. So obviously, apart from the main angles of the frame itself, the focus of this bike is up this end, the top end, with the triathlon bars. I've never used a triathlon bike, never ridden a triathlon bike, so it's going to be interesting to see how it performs, how much it hurts, because I'm not that limber, but I want to service this, get it running again, and see how well it goes. But the bars, I'm not sure who made these. Perhaps they're Scott bars, because they made some triathlon specific. But it has a 3 triple T stem. It has the Shimano 105 or 1055 brake levers, as well as the brake calipers, and up the top it has these. They're actually 6-speed, are they? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, I can't count. 7-speed shifters, bar end shifters, and these are actually from the Shimano 600, the 6400 group set. Carrying on from the 6400 group is the headset, and that is a nice addition. I've never had a 6400 headset before. Seems looking at the paintwork as well. The paintwork is pretty special. It's obviously 90s. You can tell it's 90s. I'm not 100% of the date of the bike, because in '93 this Superform was sort of superseded by the Kilo, a 1 kilo framed bike made out of Eastern aluminium tubing, and this one is obviously steel. It's thought that it could be Tange Prestige, or Tange Prestige, but I don't know. There's no stickers on the bike to indicate what tubing it was. But it's pretty special paint though, and the 6400 group continues at the bottom here. We've got the 6400 crankset, 6400 front and rear derailleurs. So yeah, really well spec'd. Unfortunately, it doesn't have the Shimano 6400 front and rear hubs. That would have been a nice addition, but instead it has some Mavic 501 hubs, front and rear, which spin really well with the Mavic Open 4 CD rims. The rims, they were obviously once upon a time all black, with the braking surfaces on there being the anodised black, but over the years they have been worn away, so they are now striped. I don't think there's much I can do about that, but yeah, the hub's been really smooth. You can see the Mavic logo just down there, and they appear to be clinchers, so there's no faffing around with tubulars. One thing I have just noticed is that the front wheel is apparently saying it is a 26-inch front wheel, a 26-inch by 26 by 3/4 apparently, which is a 20 by 571 tyre. So yeah, it looks like it has a 26-inch rear front, but what does it have on the rear? It actually says the same for the rear as well. So yeah, it looks like it's got 26-inch rims. Now, I'm obviously not a triathlon specialist. I can run just about, I can cycle, but swimming's not my forte. So yeah, I don't know about triathlons. I don't know why a 26-inch wheel would be advantageous, but apparently it has 26-inch wheels. I see here that is bike number 2, and I think it's again a very special bike to have come across and to have managed to actually got for £50, because I was watching it for ages. I was watching it for absolutely ages, and it's a really good spec. I mean, if you go by the prices of eBay, the hubs alone are worth more than what I paid for the bike, so it's a win-win situation really. As with the Carrera, I'm just going to get this serviced, get it, get it running again, forgot my words there, and see if I can ride it. I don't know how it's going to ride, I don't know how it's going to perform, but it'll be interesting. And I'll have to do some more research on them tyres and all them wheel sizes and see why it was 26-inch, because I would expect it to be 700C. Maybe if you know, leave it in the comments. Now, to complete the trifecta of buys, I managed to find this pink and grey beauty on eBay. I can't remember how exactly I came across it, but it is a small frame bike. It's a 50 centimetre, I believe, so it's on the limits of what I can ride comfortably. I might be able to do some things to get it a bit more comfortable, but I've sat on it at the current height and it's comfortable leg wise for me, but that bar position has got to go for me. Anyway, it's a Colin Lewis branded bike. Now, Colin Lewis was a cyclist, an ex-pro racer who started racing in 1960. It's got, you know, race wins to his name, but the ones that stuck out on Wikipedia were 7th in the 1960 milk race, 25th, aka the best British rider in the 1964 Olympics, and 1st in the 1967 and 1968 British National Road Race Championships. So seems to have done quite well for himself, and after that opened a shop in 1976, where maybe in the 80s, early 90s, this bike was produced. I guess it's like other cyclists had this frame made, had the colour scheme, and then decided to put all the group together to match. But unfortunately, the Colin Lewis shop, which was down in the southwest, closed last year actually, in 2019. So yeah, the shop doesn't exist anymore, but it was open for quite a while, and this bike is a very well spec'd bike, again for £50. Let's start with the frame, because the frame is, although like I say small, it is a very nice frame. It's lugged, it's Reynolds 531C, and it has a 531 fork to match. So it's a nice light frame, which should be good for you, you know, your club runs and maybe even some amateur racing on. But yeah, I was very happy that I found this, because I found 531 before, obviously, but it's the first 531C frame I've had, which I guess the C means it's slightly better than the 531. Now, the only part of this bike that isn't 105 are these shifters. I do have the 105 shifters to match, because I've decided to buy everything to make it match, but it has these Exage Sport shifters, and despite the look of the cables, which are all rusted, as is the chain, it actually still works. It clicks through the gears. It is a friction only on the front, and it is indexed and friction on the rear, and it's 6-speed if I hadn't said that. But yeah, like I say, it's lugged, fairly nice lugs on there. There's a bit of rust showing through, so I'm going to give it a good clean, get it all polished up and see what we can do with it. The hubs and wheels spin freely on this. It has a pair of Michelin dynamic tyres on, which hold pressure, have been holding the pressure, but they do look to be ever so slightly dry rotted. There's a, oh, you can't see for you looking down. Looking at the other places, I can just see very faint cracks in the tyres developing, so I'll likely change the tyres as well. But yeah, the hub that you're looking at is a Miche hub. It has a matching Miche hub on the rear, and it has the Mavic MA2 Argent rims, both front and rear, which appear to be quite strong rims from the research. And yeah, it's a shame they're not 105 to match the rest of the set, but I'm happy with how they are. They do spin, yeah, that's alright, but the skewers and the cup and cones, the nuts, the axle nuts, do look to be quite rusty, so when I do service everything, I'll make sure I de-rust those. Now, like I said, the bar position on this is not to my liking, but my bar positions aren't to everything's liking either, so I'll be changing that. I'll be dropping the stem back down because that is above the maximum limit, and I hope it's not done any damage. And if I can find them, I will find some new hoods. If not, we're going to clean these glossy things up and try and get them back to white, along with the white bar tape. And we do have the 1050 brake lever here on the other side, and the 1050 caliper just in the background. Now you're going to have to ignore the rusty chain because it does actually work, and I've measured the wear on it as well. Apparently it's as good as a brand new chain, so I think I can use it. I'm going to, like I say, clean everything up, see if I can get it working, replace the cables. But a 6-speed, oh no, it has a freewheel. I was thinking then a 6-speed cassette is very hard to come by, but it actually has a 6-speed freewheel on the rear, and that freewheel is actually a Shimano 600 freewheel. So worst comes to worst, I can replace the freewheel and the chain. The freewheel actually looks quite good teeth wear wise, but yeah, those are the rusty parts. Now the derailleur is a 1050, the rear derailleur. The front derailleur is also a 1050, but the crankset is a golden arrow. So I've bought a 1050 crankset to match the rest of the group. I'm going to take that golden arrow off and sell it, and the pedals as well are also getting replaced because I have no idea what they are without taking off the reflectors, but they are not sorry, but they are not 105, and they are pretty manky. They're missing the caps. I don't think they're not 105, I don't believe, but they spin. I don't know, maybe they'll be used for something. I think they're VP branded pedals, but they'll be coming off anyway. So yeah, that's my third find. What do you think of them? So we've got the Reynolds 531 Carrera Quattro Comp GT mountain bike, 1991, with the Deore XT group set for £50. We've got the Quintana triathlon bike with a mix of Shimano 600, Mavic 501 and Shimano 105 gear, and again £50. And the third find was this Colin Lewis 531C framed 105 spec'd road bike, small frame. And here they are, just all lent up together. But yeah, I'm gonna go through, I'm gonna service them all. I'm definitely adding the Carrera to my collection. I'm definitely adding the Quintana to my collection because I think they're the best of the three. The Colin Lewis, I will get it working, see how it rides, see how I feel on the bike size wise, and if I'm not comfortable then I'll sell it on. But with the matching 105 shifters and the matching 105 crankset, so it should be a nice bike for the smaller framed people. But yeah, so I've got a bit of work to do, a lot of servicing as well as all the other builds, but I just thought I'd show you today these three finds and see what you think about them. There's always these sort of bikes that pop up on eBay from time to time and Facebook Marketplace, so keep your eye out and I hope you find some bargains like these. So yeah, thanks for watching, catch you in the next one.